Supervisor Gardia. We need your assistance. Good morning and welcome to Tuesday, August 26th, San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors meeting. At this time, we'll take a moment of silence. A lot of you know Liz Blanchard, who has been a stalwart, passed away. It was amazing. She said she'd been to 70 different countries, and her service for Delta Colleges. So if we could take a moment in silence on behalf of Liz Blanchard, it would be much appreciated. Thank you. Vice Chair Dollywall, could you lead us in the pledge? Madam Clerk, can we please have roll call?
Supervisor Gardia? Present. Supervisor Dollywall?
Present.
Supervisor Ding?
Here.
Supervisor Rickman?
Here.
And Chair Canepa.
Here. Okay, at this time we will go into recognitions and presentations.
Thank you, Chair. This first recognition was requested by District 1, and I'd like to invite Supervisor Gardia down with the chair and Kathleen Garcia to the podium as I read this recognition, which states, "This is presented to Kathleen Garcia in recognition of your many years of dedicated service and outstanding contributions to Stockton's East Side community. Your commitment to making life better for your neighbors by standing up for equality in education and listening to concerns and making sure those voices were heard have been truly invaluable. Your continued involvement demonstrates your unwavering support and advocacy for the community. Thank you for being a lifelong voice for Stockton's East Side. Your hard work and dedication have not gone unnoticed, and we commend you for all that you have contributed. Congratulations and best wishes, presented this 26th day of August 2025. Chair Canepa and Supervisor Gardia.
Good morning. You know what? I want to take this time to allow a couple speakers to speak first, and I'll back clean up, and then we'll give our presentation.
Want me to go first?
Up to you guys.
All right. Well, here, wherever you want to go.
If I can stand next to you. Well, first of all, thank you to the board. Thank you, Mario, Supervisor Gardia, for acknowledging the Honorable Ms. Garcia. You have been so inspiring for our community. I love watching when kids come up to you and they give you a hug. And it's because, for a reason. It's because she has made kids go on to school. That's always been her flame, her fire. And I can't thank you enough for that. And then to me also, I know you on so many different committees, but the most important one that I want to acknowledge is that you sat on the community board for Garden Acres. And that board for me is very important because not just for our community, but for our seniors that you've helped so many. You wear so many different hats there. When you come to the community center, it's not just for an ask, but you never know if it's for food. You don't know, for a lot of our kids, it's their second home. And you have pushed and inspired so many of our community. So, I don't have a cert, not yet, but I did bring some flowers for you and a big hug. And a big hug. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you. God bless you.
Next, Brian Carr he's the chief of the Stockton Fire Department.
Yeah, good morning. I just wanted to recognize Ms. Garcia's service to our East Side Fire District Board for 34 years of service. I'm 2 or 3 months into this job and have been to 3 Eastside Fire District Board meetings, and we have some members here this morning. They're incredible people. They're incredible, the work they do for the fire department and the support that you have shown to the fire department for 34 years. Most recently, one of the big accomplishments of the Eastside Fire District was to approve us to have a 4th firefighter on our Engine 12 that serves the East Side. And we're able to staff that now with the support from the board. So we greatly appreciate that. I don't know Ms. Garcia super well, but I just want to say this, that after 2 months in the job, the first thing she said to me this morning was, you know, how are you doing? She wanted to know how I was doing and how the job was going for me, and that tells me all I need to know. So I just want to take this heartfelt appreciation from the Stockton Fire Department to thank you for your years of service. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know Kathy Garcia because she's my aunt, and so we go way back. And really didn't know a lot about how she was connected politically. I've always known her as the other mayor of the East Side. You know, that we have the mayor of Stockton, but Kathy Garcia was the mayor of the East Side. And when you're on the east side of town where I grew up, everybody knows Kathy Garcia from, you know, Bird Park and the community center. But I really got to know her as being the president of the Stockton Firefighters. And, you know, we struggled to get that 4th person on Engine 12. And it was critical to get that 4th person on Engine 12 because the second engine's coming from a long distance. So in order to provide the best service to the community out there, that 4th person was instrumental on public safety. And, you know, not only was she instrumental with the fire board, on the Delta College board, Stockton Unified, and just the biggest thing, just a huge advocate. But I think anybody that knows her is she's all in. She's all in, and she spent her whole life advocating for the citizens of not only Stockton but primarily the East Side. So, you know, I'm very blessed to have you as an aunt, but also blessed to have you as a community leader. And so we have a cert, and I'm going to let Rochelle read it out because I might get a little emotional.
Already did.
Oh, we did?
Yep,
All right.
already did.
Yeah, this is my first time up here doing a presentation, so I'm sure I'll get a little better at it. But we're very, very proud to have you as a citizen in this community, and you've done such a great work over the years. We got to do a better job of recognizing the people in our community that make a difference, and you're one of those people. And if you would like to say any words.
Thank you. Thank you, Mario. I'm so proud of you in your position. I'm proud of all of you up here. You worked hard to get here. Now stay here. As they've mentioned, East Side is the first firehouse that has 4 men on an engine. You know how hard it was to get 4 men on an engine? We're the only station in San Joaquin County to have 4 men on an engine. I knocked on a lot of doors. I walked a lot of miles, but we did it. And back here is East Side Fire Board. They worked as hard as I did to get it. Right after we knew that we had won the 4th man, I spent a lot of time at the station. The doorbell rang. The guys all said, "Go to the door." I went. Here's this good-looking young man. He looked up at me and he said, "I'm number 4." And I said, "Pardon me?" "I'm number 4." And you know, my mind wasn't going where it should have. And all of a sudden it clicked. I opened the door. Come on, guys. Number 4 is here. So the guys, including Rick Edwards, came out, brought the guy in, said, this is your new home. And you could call over to Station 12 any time of the day or night after that. Say, how are things going? They are so happy that they can do things that they've never been able to do with 3 men. 4 men on an engine was the biggest thing we have done. I used to take turkeys over there for Christmas dinner. And I did that every year until the year that I forgot to cook the turkey before I took it over there. And I get home and here's this call. You want to come back and get the turkey? Why? Well, you didn't cook it yet. So I changed my strategy after that. No more turkeys to Station 12. Now I take cakes and cookies and anything that they can eat. I spend a lot of time at Station 12. When we were remodeling the front, the back, inside, if the guys didn't like it, we didn't do it. Or if they wanted something different, they'd call me up and say, would you please tell that carpenter not to do that? So I'd run over there and I'd tell him, don't do that. I'm very proud of Station 12, and they're proud of themselves. If you really want to do something fun, nice, go over there, knock on the door and say, hey, can I come in and have coffee or just see you guys? They'd love it. They're very personable. They like what they're doing, and they like how they're doing it. I thank you, Mario, for everything.
All right, can we get a round of applause? I'd like to invite the Eastside Fire Board to come up for a picture. All your team. Stockton Fire guys too. And we do have gals, but they're not here today.
Thank you.
We're gonna try to walk up there, okay? We'll try to walk up there. Yeah. Got it.
Thank you guys for coming.
Next, Chair Canepa, we have a recognition by District 3. This is a Future Leaders Recognition and an initiative by Chair Canepa started this year to recognize our future leaders of San Joaquin County. And again, this is being presented by District 3 of Greg Leland, and I'd like to invite Supervisor Dollywall down to the floor and Mr. Leland to the podium as we read this recognition, which states, "This is being presented to Greg Leland in recognition of your dedication and commitment of leading with compassion and creating opportunities for our youth. The recent dedication of the Greg Leland Gym stands as a lasting symbol of your legacy, a place that will inspire future generations just as you have throughout your career. Your selflessness and passion inspire those around you, and we extend our sincerest thanks for your extraordinary efforts. Congratulations and best wishes, presented this 26th day of August 2025. Chair Canepa and Supervisor Dollywall."
You want to start or you? Good morning, everyone. When it comes to future leaders recognition, I think there's no one better than former Principal Greg Leland. Sir, thank you so much for your services. There are so many young men and women who are successful in their lives because of you, including my 4 kids. Last week, Lathrop High School named their main gym after Mr. Leland. Not only you deserve it, you earned it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your services. God bless you. Would you like to say a few words?
I want to thank Supervisor Dollywall and all of the Board of Supervisors. I'm very humbled, very honored to be here today. I do want to say that I think I was the only principal ever that got to call the mayor, and we go out for coffee and we talk about what was going on, and we sure miss you in our community, but I know you're doing great things for District 3 now. So thank you very much for this honor. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Sir, we have a certificate of recognition for you. Please accept it.
And Chairman, if I could, and just as a side note, I was talking to Mr. Leland and Deputy Richmond, and, we were reminiscing about how Tracy High School used to just bury Lincoln in football every season, so.
It's amazing to celebrate good human beings, so thank you for coming down, and Kathy Garcia has just been a stalwart in our community, so thank you both for coming down to share with us. So at this time, we're going to move discussion item number 1, discuss adopting a resolution opposing California Proposition 50, officially known as the Use of Legislative Congressional Redistricting Map Amendment as amended. So Supervisor Ding, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to mention it. I said I wouldn't. First off, I have to mention that Shirley Weber and Willie Brown last night during the election integrity meeting mentioned that if we really wanted to get our elections back on process, we should refer to the Australian ballot. So I won't go into my Australian ballot speech, but I'm glad I could teach Willie Brown something. Prop 50 is the special election that's been called by the governor. I'm really not here to tell you or care what Texas is doing or what Illinois is doing or Ohio or anybody else. As the Board of Supervisors, we are elected to do 2 main things: guard the checkbook and keep the public safe. Those are our primary responsibilities. It's not to get emotional about certain issues, preferably not to get involved in partisan politics, because when you make emotions and decisions, and I didn't shut my phone off, I apologize. If you make decisions based on emotions, we really aren't watching out for the taxpayers' dollars the way we should. I have been focused over the last couple of months on things like the Delta Tunnel, something that we as constituents who love the Delta have been vehemently opposed to. Original cost tag of $20 billion, it's going to be more like $100 billion. Where's the money going to come from? Who's going to pay for it? The state is $12 billion in debt right now. Prop 36 that the voters just passed to make sure crime is illegal again. It is actually illegal to loot a store again. But the governor put no money in his budget to fund our sheriff's department, DA, probation, anything else. The state is making a lot of promises, writing a lot of checks with lots of zeros. I mean, you open that state checkbook and it goes, oh, because there's so many zeros in there. That's what's going on. Supposedly, the state is going to reimburse the county for this election they cannot afford down the road. And I would like to ask you this, would you borrow money or would you loan money to somebody that it was so far overextended, you don't know if you're ever going to get paid back again? I've always thought whether you're a father, restaurant owner, car wash owner, supervisor, firefighter, know what hat you're wearing. I'm wearing a Board of Supervisors hat. I have one responsibility. My responsibility is not to the Republicans, the Democrats, Trump, Newsom, anybody else. It's to the taxpayers. This is irresponsible. And sometimes you've just got to be grandpa, and you got to say no. The fun's over. We're broke, and we're not going to do this anymore. It's not my circus, not my monkey. And therefore, I would like this board, as you know, we are an appendage of the state, and we will be the first county doing this. We need to send the message that fiscal responsibility. And we're going to take San Joaquin first. I'm going to tell one more story, and then I'm going to shut up. And then I'm going to hopefully Supervisor Rickman, who knows a lot more about, since he spent a couple of years working on reapportionment, could talk a lot more about it. About 30 years ago when I was in the U.S. House, and I'm 30 years old? I'll say I was 15. Makes me feel younger right now. And young and always loving getting involved in political campaigns and so forth. And I got back to D.C. and I got in the elevator. And Chairman Bob Matsui was in the elevator with another group of constituents. And elevator started going up and it got to the 4th floor, and I'm getting ready to get out. And Chairman Matsui says, "Steve, can you stay on the elevator?" And the rest of the constituents got off. And I'm thinking, the chairman knows who I am. I've arrived. What I didn't know is when those doors closed, the chairman stared straight ahead. He didn't look at me. And he said, "Steve, if you want to play partisan politics, don't do it here. Valley first." And I always remembered that. I mean, I went back to the office and I told my boss at the time, and he just laughed at me. He goes, "I'm glad somebody could get that through your head." So politics aside, we have a job to do. Know what hat you're wearing. And I ask that we approve the Proposition 50 resolution to oppose.
Thank you. Supervisor Rickman?
Thank you, Chairman. I'll just wait until after public comment.
Okay. Anybody else would like to comment before? Okay. At this time, we're going to open this up to public comment. One thing, though, is if you do speak to this now, that when public comment is open, you won't have the opportunity to speak twice on the same topic. So these are all for this? Okay. First on deck is Betty Floyd, and Terry Johnson is on deck, please.
And for the record, Chair, it's a 3-minute time limit.
3-minute time.
correct?
So
Thanks.
Betty Floyd, you're up. And Terry Johnson, you will be next, please.
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to this issue. I'm urging you to reconsider your stand on BOS/D4 and change to the support of the governor of this great state in his effort to give the people an opportunity to fight back against the actions of our president. It is unprecedented for a president to demand a state to give him 5 votes or any number of votes. This is unusual times, and we have to fight back. The overwhelming majority of the citizens in the state of California agree with Governor Newsom, and I ask you to change your attitude, to change your stance, and to support the special elections or to vote on redistricting. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry Johnson, and then Louise McMillan is next, please.
Good morning. My name is Terry Johnson. I'm with the NAACP, and as a citizen in the city of Stockton and the state of California, I stand and speak in opposition of the resolution opposing California Proposal 50. And I furthermore encourage this board to do the same. I mean, I could stand up here and I could go on for an hour speaking about why this injustice has to be corrected, and the only way we can do it in California is to have a proposal like this so we can balance the power. And there's so much going on in our country today that you all know about, and it's time for us to make a stand. And we can do that here in California. So I plead for you to accept, to regard this resolution, to oppose this, and go for it.
Thank you. Louise McMillan and Tiffany Dobson is on deck.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Louise McMillan. I'm with the Stockton NAACP branch, and I oppose to the resolution I oppose your request to deny through your resolution. What I want to say is you're discussing adopting the resolution to opposing the Proposition 50, officially known as the Use of Legislative Congressional Redistricting Map Amendment, and I oppose to that. One of the things is this redistricting will give us equal and fair chances in the voting within our Congress and within our city, state, county, and federal process. You were talking about funds, and I know I don't know how much you have in emergency funds, but this is an emergency situation. I feel like our county and our citizens are being attacked through various methods, and one of them is our voting rights and abilities to fight against things that are being taken away from us as Black people and as people of color. And we've already taken stuff away from us through the DEI, and no one had a problem with that. So I'm trying to figure out why you don't have a problem of supporting us and making sure that we have equal opportunities and rights. So please take a look at your emergency funds. You see what's available in there when we're talking about funding, and we want to also make sure that we take a look at what we're doing to a community. Sometimes you have to give money to get money within your communities, and so this is what we're needing to do to fight for the rights of our people. Thank you very much. And if possible, I'd like to give the rest of my minutes to the next speaker. Thank you.
Bobby.
Mr. Chair, point of personal privilege. Shouldn't it be better that we hear the presentation and then give our response?
He did the presentation.
Responding before we hear what the.
He did the presentation. That was Supervisor
I thought
Dings,
Supervisor Rickman was going to be speaking to the item in depth.
when it comes back from public comment.
This is not my public comment part.
Okay. Tiffany Dobson and David Sankey is on deck, please.
Good morning, Supervisors. My name is Tiffany Dobson. As a resident and a voter in Stockton and San Joaquin County, and of course in California, I do oppose this resolution. San Joaquin County cannot be the ones to set this dangerous precedent. Thank you.
David Sankey and Al Shepard is on deck, please.
Good morning, Chair Canepa, members of the board. My name is David Sankey. I'm a lifelong Stockton resident, and I'm here to oppose the discussion agenda item 1, the resolution against Prop 50. Let's be very clear, this resolution is partisan posturing, framed as fiscal concern. We keep hearing about this $250 million price tag, yet the 2021 special recall of Governor Newsom cost approximately $200 million. And current projections for 2025 are slightly above the $235 million. This is consistent with what a statewide election would cost. Fiscal responsibility matters, but reducing this debate to dollars alone ignores the real issue: whether communities like Stockton and Lodi will have fair and equal representation in Washington, D.C. What's at stake is representation in the House of Representatives. Congress is not decided by county, it's decided nationally. And right now, states like Texas are advancing mid-decade redraws of their congressional maps at the urging of President Donald Trump, who has openly called for districts designed to lock in partisan advantage that could secure Republican gains for years. This affects the balance of Congress and the voices of families here in San Joaquin County. Here is the key difference for democratic legitimacy. In California, voters are deciding what to do with this proposition. Proposition 50 is a constitutional amendment that has to be approved by voters like ourselves in a special election this November. In Texas, by contrast, maps were imposed by the state legislature and the governor without a statewide vote. That's why opponents are relying on walkouts and lawsuits to challenge this, while Californians like ourselves can weigh in directly at the ballot box. Do I like the idea of San Joaquin County being split across multiple districts? Of course not. Residents have, wanted to say that our county kept whole, and I wholeheartedly agree. But standing still while other states re-engineer the national map mid-cycle does not protect our voice, it instead weakens it. And that's why I'm calling this for what it is: selective outrage. Some cry foul when only one party pushes for this change, while staying silent when the other side does the same exact thing. That is not consistency. That is partisanship. Again, let's bring it back to the long-term solution: independent redistricting nationwide. Californians overwhelmingly chose that path for Propositions 11 and 20, creating the Citizens Redistricting Commission, which has been recognized nationally as a model for fairness and transparency. Until every other state follows suit, California cannot afford to disarm and stand by while others change the role in their favors. For these reasons alone, I urge you to reject this resolution. Let Californians decide at the ballot box and keep the focus on fair representation in the national environment we have today. Thank you.
Al Shepard and Bishop Dwight Williams on deck.
Good morning, county board members. I'm Pastor Al Shepard. I want to just start off by saying I'm totally opposed to this. So, it has been brought to my attention that 3 members of the San Joaquin board are attempting to put forward a resolution that would change our voting rights under the guise of redistricting our county districts. This effort aligns with what we are seeing in Texas. In addition, more seats to benefit the Republican Party so that they can control more positions of the House and to continue their attack on the voting rights of the Black and the brown communities. This is part of the 2025 agenda being pushed by the Federalist Society under along with the national leadership, and it is targeted especially at the communities of color. Make no mistake, it is time to wake up. I stand here today to tell each member of this county board that the Black and brown community is awake, aware, and we are not going to sit back and allow this to happen. We will not bury our heads in the sand and hope it pass us by. That is not what's going to happen. We will be vigilant beginning with this proposed resolution. Frankly, it is beyond me how 3 members of the board could bring forward such a resolution and expect it to pass. That means, of course, that at least one or more of the remaining members would have to go along with it. So let me be clear. It will become public knowledge who votes in favor of this resolution or even abstain from voting against it. And when it's the time comes for re-election, whether for a San Joaquin County board, a city's a board member, or any other public office, I intend to make sure that this information is shared. At this moment, I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone else, but I also serve on and speak before many organizations such as the NCUI, the African Chamber of Congress, the San Joaquin County Ministers Alliance, NAACP Religious Board, the Baptist Pastors Alliance of San Joaquin County, the Ernest Tillman Men's Prayer Group, and the AM Prayer Warriors. Every opportunity that I am given to speak before these organizations, I will make it my agenda to keep on the forefront the names of the members of the board who supported and allowed this resolution to move forward.
Thank you, sir. Bishop Dwight Williams and Geneva Haynes is on deck, please.
Chairman Canepa, members of the Board of Supervisors, I'm Bishop Dwight Williams, and I'm speaking as an individual and a lifelong resident of this community. I stand in support of Supervisor Dean's resolution for the board to take this position on this matter, and let me tell you why. San Joaquin County, being an incredibly diverse community, went through a process during the last reapportionment where many different constituencies across ethnic lines, across cultural lines, across partisan lines, spent months in drawing the current maps as they are. Consensus was found, and we don't need to change that midstream. Now, what Texas is doing is Texas's business. We don't live in Texas, and what Texas does is what Texas does. What Illinois does, what Illinois does. And frankly, gerrymandering is wrong, frankly. And frankly, let's be real, both parties are frankly guilty of it. Former House Speaker Tip O'Neill said that all politics is local. And at the end of the day, this is a local matter. San Joaquin County, in my humble opinion, does not need to thrust itself into this type of situation, which is only going to be in many ways a race to the bottom. Again, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or independent, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. I'm standing up here as a citizen of San Joaquin County. What Texas does, what Illinois does is their business, and they'll figure this out themselves. The national implications will play them out themselves. Our interests are here in San Joaquin County, and let everybody else deal with their matters as they come. I can tell you that I can say on behalf of the Greater Stockton Chamber of Commerce, and I am one of their vice presidents, that they are opposed and are in support, frankly, of Supervisor Dean's resolution that we take this position and ask you to go with his recommendation. And I can speak on their behalf as the board and our Government Relations Council And as their chair, I can't speak on that behalf as their chairman of the Government Relations Council for the Stockton Chamber of Commerce. So I ask you, in my remaining 25 seconds, to support Supervisor Dean's measure. Again, we've already had these conversations. We cannot solve the nation's problems and Valley first. Valley first. I thank you.
Thank you. Geneva Haynes and Dr. Mary Ann Cox is on deck, please.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Geneva Haynes. I'm a 30-year resident of San Joaquin County, and I hold a number of hats. I am a resident. I am a minister of the gospel. I am a bleeding heart social worker. As such, I have always felt strongly that individuals should be able to have a voice and a say in critical issues that affect them, issues both on the state, the local, and the federal level. The issue that's before us today that is set in Sacramento right now, Proposition 50, allows us as individual voters to have a voice in the direction of this nation as it pertains to a very critical issue related to redistricting. To deny us the right to have that voice, I think, is a mistake. I would very much support this board in reconsidering their posture. It is simply giving us an opportunity to vote, to say we as citizens feel this way. We vote for many things. We have opportunity to vote on behalf of our families and our community. We voted for you, and we made very good decisions in our voting. I think this board needs to know that you can trust us as voters. It is okay for us to vote on important matters like this, and we have good history of making good voting decisions. Trust that we will continue to do that. We are citizens of this community. We love this community. We love this country, and we want the very best. And you can discharge the responsibility that you're taking on yourself in terms of denying us the right to vote on a very critical national issue. So once again, I would suggest to you, it's safe to trust us. We will vote well, and we will make good decisions.
Thank you, Dr. Mary Ann Cox and Dr. Inez Ruiz.
My name is Dr. Mary Ann Cox, and most of you know me from Delta College, but I'm retired now. But I still care so much about our community, and I know that you gentlemen, I appreciate the opportunity to speak today, and I know that you gentlemen really do believe in the benefit of our community having a say. And so I'm here today for two reasons. I'm from two groups, the League of Women Voters and the San Joaquin DEI. In the League of Women Voters, you did receive a flyer that implied that the League of Women Voters was against the new redistricting. However, I got a letter from the League of Women Voters saying, you may have received a mailer from the Voters First Act about the redistricting ballot initiative this November. The implication is not correct. We are not part of that coalition. The League of Women Voters did not authorize that action. So the flyer you got in the mail is a phony flyer. So just want you to know that, and I brought the verification. The second group I represent is the San Joaquin County DEI. And I just believe that you gentlemen really know that the most important thing you can do for our community is let the community have a voice. And that voice is a voting voice. And so all this resolution through the state is an opportunity for us to voice our opinions. And if you choose not to do that, you are not representing the community at large. And that's what I hope you'll think about when you make this kind of decision. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning, County Board of Supervisors. Rickman, Stephen, Paul, Sunny, Mario. It breaks my heart that you want to oppose this. There's 816,000 people in San Joaquin County. 42% are from our Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, Latine, nuestra gente. We work for you. We serve you. We take care of your families. Do not oppose California Proposition 50. We need you to support it. Do you not care about us? Do you not care about families? Do you not care about children? Do you not understand there's a national emergency? I thank my brothers and sisters here who have spoken, asking you, begging you, oppose. We got to stand and support Proposition 50. It is a national issue. Our families are afraid to go to work. Our children are afraid to school, afraid to go get hospital, emergency attention, afraid for everything that's happening, and you want to look at it a different way. Think of us, the things that we do for you every day, what we do to support the Valley in making the Valley an amazing place to be, to live. Each one of you should know this. Each one of you know what's the right thing to do at a local level, because your local level can help a nation, help your families here. We're asking you, please oppose this resolution. Support Proposition 50. We want democracy, save democracy, and this democracy you're going to save our nation, because we need those seats, we need those representatives, because you care, because we're a nation to support. We are all human beings, and there's been an attack on our community, and I think you all care about us, to support us all the way. Please support Proposition 50. Do not oppose it for our families and our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Andy Burris and Reverend Ernest Williams is on deck.
Good morning. As a voter in this county, I am urging you all to table this agenda item indefinitely, or at the very least oppose it. It is misleading. It is in fact partisan politics, and it's in support of the racist actions that have been taken by the Texas legislator. As much as you would like to say that this has nothing to do with Texas politics, it absolutely does, because it is, Proposition 50 is in response to that. This resolution is political posturing, and it is signaling your support to the Republican legislators who have taken issue with Prop 50. That's what this resolution does. Be very clear what you are voting for if you are voting in support of this resolution. It is highly inappropriate for a governing body of this county to assert itself in this state issue of politics. First of all, this resolution is not going to stop voters from voting, but it is going to send a message to your county that we don't care about your vote, because all we care about is making sure that Governor Newsom doesn't get his way. That's really what you're saying. And no one here, I don't think, is ignorant to that fact. This is not a county issue, although you're pretending that it is with the issue of finances. So let me just be clear. You don't speak for me on this issue. I will have a say. We don't need the county to say that we don't agree with Prop 50. That's not your place. Your place is to take care of county business. County business would be, let's see, addressing a corrupt district attorney with the historic and documented history of racism and retaliation, and using government funds, taxpayer money, to put his name on a public building, to put his name on billboards, using taxpayer money. I'm so happy to hear you say you care about guarding the checkbook. Guard the checkbook when it comes to our taxpayer funds and how they're used in a corrupt manner. Make a resolution about that. That's your business. This is not your business. So vote in support of this vote in support of this resolution is a vote in support of racism, because that's what Prop 50 is trying to battle. We're watching you all, and we're seeing exactly what you're doing. So I ask, please, table this agenda item indefinitely. It has no place here.
Thank you. Reverend Ernest Williams. Reverend Ernest Williams, and then Kim Range is on deck.
Good afternoon, or good morning, whatever it is. I rise to say to all of you, I remember as a young man living here in Stockton, California, one morning I got up to eat breakfast on my way to Edison High School for my classes, and there was a governor from the state of Alabama, was on national television, and he said, segregation today, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. And ever since he said that, there's been a group of people in this country, in this city, and in this county who are repeating some of those remarks. You're not saying it out loud. What you're doing is you're gerrymandering. You're not going behind my back. You're not bombing my house. You're not telling me to sit in the back of the bus. You're not denying me my constitutional rights to vote, but you're gerrymandering. That's something that's, I can say the same thing that fella in the White House said. I'd like to find 4 votes up here to support Proposition 50.
Kim Range and Luana Bivens is on deck.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. My name is Kim Range, and I am a voter and resident of Tracy, and I'm speaking today in opposition of this resolution. Does this resolution bring down the cost of gas, housing, eggs, and most importantly, does it keep families together? California voters created the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission through Proposition 11 and 20. That commission, not county boards, has a responsibility to draw district lines. This resolution has no legal effect, yet staff time, county funds, and public attention are being diverted away from urgent needs like healthcare, housing, education, and county services. The resolution warns about mid-cycle redistricting, setting a dangerous precedent. Yet this resolution itself sets a precedent of polarizing the county board with partisan statements. The board should focus on county responsibilities, protecting health services, ensuring fair local elections, and what I mean is ensuring that the voting for Proposition 50 and other elections is fair, and addressing other community needs. This resolution has not advanced those goals. It is hard not to see how our country's administration is disenfranchising Black, brown, and other marginalized communities. And here I stand, living the nightmare of my parents and grandparents. This resolution undermines progress made of my parents and my grandparents. By attempting to insert itself into redistricting process, this Board of Supervisors is signaling that it does not want to see Black, brown, and other marginalized groups gain power. Whether intentional or not, this action plays into a broader national agenda that is weakening democracy and hurting communities across the country. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you.
To the Honorable Chairperson and all the members of the Board of Supervisors, I'm LaWanna Bivens. I'm a member of the National Board of the NAACP. I'm also on the California-Hawaii Executive Board for the NAACP and the Stockton branch. I stand here today as someone who came through the civil rights era, a time when people of color had to fight, march, and sacrifice to secure the most fundamentals right of all, and that is the right to vote. I fought to protect the Voting Rights Act because I know what it means when voices like ours are silenced and our communities are left without representation. Proposition 50 is all about fairness, accountability, and protecting the integrity of our democracy. For communities of color, these protections are not abstract, they are personal. And it hurts me to see so many of my brothers and sisters who will be impacted by your potential actions. We have lived through decades where access to the ballot box was denied, restricted, and manipulated. We cannot afford to go backwards. Supporting Proposition 50 means standing on the shoulders of those who came before us and honoring their sacrifices. I have to honor the sacrifices of my grandparents, my parents, and all of my ancestors who came before me. It ensures that every voice counts, every voice matters, and every community, including ours, has a seat at the table. I know that you all care about us. I know that you all care about this community. So today, I want to urge you to support Proposition 50 and stand on the side of justice, equity, and democracy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Cynthia Cuevas, and then we had somebody that didn't fill out a name, so then after Cynthia, I'll open it up, so whoever this was, you'll have the opportunity to speak in a minute. So Cynthia Cuevas, you have the floor.
Are we still discussing just this?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I have a comment on another.
Yeah, that'll be fine. If it's something outside of this and public comment, you'll have the opportunity then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Proposition 50 is misguided. It is unneeded. Has anybody looked at the map? Anybody looked at the proposed map? Okay. It looks like Picasso on a bad day. All right. And I don't think this is about racism or anything else. I think it's about taking away what California voted for in a past election, Citizens Redistricting Commission. This proposition nullifies that supposedly for like the next 3 elections or something. Forgive me if I'm not sure I trust that process. Sorry, I'm just gonna go quickly to, okay. The proposition is for one reason alone, to tilt elections in a particular direction. I just don't believe this is, as the one gentleman who did speak to the redistricting commission and what it's about, I don't believe it's to the state's benefit. We don't have the money. I don't know where the money's coming from for this election. And it's not about Trump. Let's get our minds off of Trump, okay? This is Gavin Newsom's thing. He believes for some reason this is a good idea for California, for whatever reasons. On the basis of that and on what this would do, it's going to take away the citizens' voice for 3 elections, I believe it's 3 elections, and give the politicians free rein to redistrict yet again and yet again if they decide to. So that alone should be a warning. We should want our redistricting commission to have input. They should be the ones to draw the map, not our politicians. Thank you.
Thank you. DeAndre Davey.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. My name is Deidre Davey, and I'm the first Vice President for the NACP Stockton Branch. A core goal of NACP is to ensure that Black people, brown people, and all people can freely and fully participate in the U.S. electoral process. That is why we stand here today to oppose a resolution that will oppose Proposition 50. This resolution is harmful and is misguided. It ignores the truth that when Black Texans are denied the ability to send their chosen representatives to Congress, Black Californians lose representation on critical policy issues. Education, equity, healthcare, veterans affairs, and criminal justice reform are all impacted when our collective voices are diminished. The San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors should not align itself with a measure that demonizes California's attempt to preserve fairness and representation. Instead, you should stand with efforts that strengthen democracy, expand civic participation, and ensure that every community, especially historically marginalized ones, have a fair voice in the political process. For the reasons we have respectfully urged you to vote no on the resolution for. Thank you.
Bobby Bivens. Can't believe you forgot to put your name on the card. Not that we want to shame anybody, but that's pretty rookie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for signing my name for me.
You're welcome. I got you.
Good morning to all of you. And I want to say that I'm somewhat disappointed that you all didn't put together a resolution to send to Governor Abbott to call him down in terms of his desire to keep Black people from having representation, to keep Latino people from having representation, to keep Asian people from having representation. That is the resolution that would make me happy for our Board of Supervisors to be first in the state of California to do. And yes, it is political, Steve. It is very political. It's political when people in America are having their right taken away to vote by a governor of the nation that has proven that he cares nothing about people of color. He has attacked every city with a Black mayor, Black governorship. He does not care, and he leads our country. Yes, you all, some of you are Republicans, some of you are not. I voted for Republicans, I voted for Democrats. It didn't matter. What matters is who supports our community and does the work that all people can have an equal access to the American dream, so-called. we ask you, and I ask you on the behalf of the NAACP, to not oppose the proposition that the governor has. I ask you to pull your proposition off of this agenda today because it doesn't change anything in the country anyway. We ask you not to be the first Board of Supervisors in the state of California to come out looking like racists. I live here. I go places and I hear people talking about our community constantly in the negative. You have an opportunity to pull and withdraw your resolution that it looks racist, is racist to all people of color in a community that people are running and hiding from ICE, that people are concerned about not having jobs, from a government leadership that over 300,000 black women have been unemployed. So I ask you, I don't beg, I ask you seriously to consider withdrawing your resolution. That doesn't change your commitment to money, doesn't change your commitment to governance, it doesn't change your commitment to America. Thank you.
Thank you. Tia Barnes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I just wanted to come up here and say that I really would like us to give the people a chance to actually use their voices to vote, just as we did to elect you guys as well. This is not about trying to get a leg up on the national elections. In fact, we are just trying to balance the scales. Getting the leg up already happened when Texas decided to take the step that they did. Outside of that, the work that we did in order to have our districts drawn in such a way was perfect. Actually, well, I'm going to call it perfect because this was the first time we did not have anybody oppose it. I'm saying that with knowing full well, like I said, my name is Tia Barnes. I'm Russian. I'm a little nervous. Sorry. That my mother actually sits on the redistricting committee. She was very much so a part of drawing these fair lines, and we were all very proud of her in it. It was my first time sitting through all of the hearings or whatnot by her side listening as they were public, the public portions of it anyway. And it was an interesting process to actually to see unfold. And we're extremely proud of all of the work that they did and all of the parties coming together to make these particular lines. This is not the time for us to stand on the principles of that beautiful work. If we did that work now, we can do it again when it actually counts later. If we do nothing today, if we don't actually stand up against what the rest of the United States is doing to actually make it unfair instead of trying to keep it at somewhat of a balance, what is that saying to our people in our county? For us to be the first people to come out to actually support this, knowing full well, because you're hearing from your people here today, that there are some of us that are experiencing and have fully seen what racism is in the system here, and those that have not and don't believe that it is there. We are telling you, all of us, we are telling you that there does need something, that we do have to have something done. This may not be the right thing to do. However, not doing something is worse. We have to be able to stand up for this together, and then we can fight to go back to doing what we just did and working together to agree when it actually will count for our county as well as our state. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Nicholson.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors and the dais. I am here. I'm a resident of French Camp. And at the last election, when I went to place my vote, I realized that on my ballot, I didn't have a representative. I'm a Democrat, a proud Democrat. Both candidates were Republicans. One was a Margaret Greene prototype. The other one, I didn't know. I don't know. But the point is, I really didn't have a choice. Here it is right now, something very, very important. Yes, in my mind, what went on in Texas is affecting me because those seats matter. What's going on in Washington, D.C. is affecting us as a community in terms of what's happening with our hospitals, what's happening with Medicare and Medicaid, and all of the things that we are seeing here in California. It is affecting us. It's affecting my grandchildren. It's affecting our education. This is something that is very important. And when you talk about handling the books, when California is the 4th GMP, sending money to all these other states that are relying on the money that California has, how can you say California is just California? No, it is not. Those 5 seats matter. From my perspective, we shouldn't be going after 5 seats. We should be going after 7 or 8 because we should not even give it a chance to override us in California. It matters. And for us to surrender and say, oh, what's going on in those other states don't matter. It truly does. And I can't sit here and be silent about it. I cannot. Now, it all affects even little French Camp because you have hospitals here in San Joaquin County and the performance has not been that great. When you look at the data, when you look at the performance. And so when many of those hospitals rely on Medicaid and Medicare, you know it. Over 40% of the people here thrive off of Medicare and Medicaid. So when you say it doesn't matter, I'm asking you to reconsider and look at the total picture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Kennefick. Mary, I don't know if I massacred your name, Kennefick.
Good morning. My name is Mary Kennefick. Am I pushing it up or? Okay. I am a San Joaquin County resident, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters. However, I'm not speaking for the League as a whole this morning. I'm speaking for myself. First thing I'd like to do is thank our last speaker, because from my perspective, and sorry, I didn't change my glasses, darn. From my perspective, of all the speakers this morning has except the young man who was terrific, the best take on where we are right now. You could look at little pieces of this problem, but this is a bad proposal, Mr. Ding. It's another bad proposal from Mr. Ding, I'm sorry to say. It is out of time and out of place. It denies the voters of California opportunities to make their own decisions. You're trying to decide for them. We need to back off from the specifics of this a little bit and ask ourselves what's really at stake. And if you don't understand that what's really at stake here is our form of government, then I would send you back to your high school book and suggest that maybe you read a little bit of that and read Tim Snyder's On Tyranny or The Road to Unfreedom, because we are far, far down the road to unfreedom right now. There are many people who are looking at our situation and saying we are, 70% on the way to an authoritarian form of government. That would not be a good outcome here. Governor Newsom's proposal is to give us an opportunity to make a change, to accept our responsibility for outcomes in elections, and not sit on our hands waiting for the people in Texas to decide for us who will run our government. That's it. Just think about what the value of democracy is.
Thank you. That's the end of the cards that I have for discussion item 1. Is there anybody else at this time that wishes to speak that hasn't filled out a card? Okay. Please come forward and state your name.
Good morning. Good morning. I have not filled out a card, but my name is Glenda Deloney, and I'm a resident of Manteca. I've been living here for 5 years. I live in Del Webb, and I have experienced environmental pollution ever since I've lived there. The noise, the chemicals. No one does anything about it. To my understanding, President Trump plans to deregulate even those regulations for the environment. Actually, I think this morning he's said something about deregulating the trucks from out of state, not having to smog. But they have to smog here in California, and actually, I worked on the legislation years ago. Sandra Swanson submitted to governor at the time to sign. The trucks are not even supposed to come into California. They're supposed to stop at the line. I'm sure you're aware of that. Anyway, to make a long story short, to not want the residents here to have California redistrict, to speak up for democracy is wrong. All of you have families. You can believe those that agree not to have California redistrict, your families are going to reap from that. It's going to affect everybody. It's not even a black and white thing. So you really want to consider what you're doing, because it may even fall back on you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, at this time, bring it back to the board.
Thank you, Chairman. And just I know there was a statement made earlier that 3 members of this board brought this to the agenda today. That's not true at all. I mean, 1 supervisor brought this forward, and then, so just make that clear, clarify that. But I just want to give some history on, what we're talking about here today at first. And more than a decade ago, the citizens of California voted to approve the Citizen Redistricting Commission. I believe that was in 2008 and 2010. And on that board sits the 14-member commission, and made up of 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats, and 4 non-affiliated that sit on that board. Now, I know the citizens wanted transparency and a fair process, and this is why this commission was formed. They did not want what they have seen in the past and what you do see in other states. Politicians or career politicians influenced by special interests and self-preservation draw on these maps. They wanted a voice, and they wanted to be heard, and this is exactly what this commission did. In fact, Californians care so much that they placed it in our state constitution where it sits today. Now, what we have seen by the governor and the legislator in the state, according to many, is a reversal of what the voters wanted, more than a decade ago. Return to career politician influenced by special interests and self-preservation drawn these congressional maps. In fact, we hear a lot today that citizens, we have to have a voice. And then you have to talk about the transparency. When these maps were drawn at the Capitol in Sacramento, where were the citizens' voice then? What we do know, the very limited information that we have, is that Paul Mitchell, with redistricting partners, draw the proposed maps. We don't know who influenced these maps or what politicians, elected officials were involved in these maps. There have been several drafts that have been proposed, and so the question has to be asked, why, did these change? Who was involved? Who influenced the redrawing of these maps? What were there to be gained? Hey, if you want my vote, this needs to be done this way, and we don't know. And where was the citizens' involvement in this process? Again, we're talking about a citizen's voice here, right? Us to be involved in this process, it was non-existent. Now, there has been talk about me being in the redistricting committee, and that was correct. In 2021, I should say, a majority of 2021, I was the vice chair on the redistricting committee for the San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors. And I can tell you, during that time, we gathered vigorous public input. And this included advisory group meetings, online and phone surveys, public outreach workshops and community meetings. And these included residents of San Joaquin County, both Republicans and Democrats and non-affiliated, the business community, chambers of commerce, nonprofit, faith-based group. Anybody that wanted to be involved had an opportunity to have their voice heard. And one thing we did as a committee is we made sure that the districts minimized the division of our cities, the counties, neighborhoods, and communities of interest to the extent possible. Now, you look at these maps as they're drawn today. We go from, well, let me jump back here. The majority feedback we received was from the residents of San Joaquin County, was to have San Joaquin County represented by one congressional district with no other counties included in that district. And the second most popular was that if San Joaquin County was to be represented by two congressional districts, then it should only include Stanislaus County. And our community, according to the surveys and the feedback that we received, felt it was important to have a district of similar viewpoints and values that unite and bring the community together. And this included protecting the Delta and water quality issues, preserving agriculture, housing affordability, homelessness, and infrastructure. Those were some of the top concerns that our residents in San Joaquin County voiced, and the reason that they wanted what I just stated. At the end of the day, when we got all the intel, all the comments, we sent the maps over to Sacramento. San Joaquin County was united into two congressional districts. Look at the maps today. We go from 2 to 5. It splits Lodi, for example, not my district, right? But splits Lodi, and I believe they have 3 congressional districts now, and San Joaquin County will have a total of 5. It goes against what our residents of San Joaquin County wanted. And again, when we did all this, this was several months, not 3 days or 4 days like Sacramento, several months of input. So Lodi is split into 3 different congressional districts. And as you heard before, can you imagine having, and what is Lodi? 69, 70,000 people? So you have families that have lived there decades, generations, and you could have a mom and dad in one house, have one congressional representative, a kid who moves 2-3 blocks away have a different congressional representative, and another child or uncle, aunt who lives half a mile away has another congressional representative. I mean, that is something that this community of San Joaquin County didn't want to see. And I believe even Stockton split. And, so when you talk about, why, we shouldn't get, we should get involved and, why this up here, why we should oppose this is because this is exactly what our residents feared. This is exactly what our residents of this county did not want. And again, when we did this redistricting, this isn't something that we talked about 10, 15, 20 years ago. This, again, 2001. So this is why, I mean, this is just some information that I shared, wanted to share to this community and to this board. So at this time, Chair, I'll yield my time.
Supervisor Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A vote for this resolution is saying you respect the community who was at the table who drew the lines. You respect the voters more than you do the government officials in Sacramento who said, yeah, we don't really care what the voters had to say, we know better. We're tired of being told by Sacramento they know better. Bobby Bivens, my friend Bobby Bivens, president of the NAACP, Bobby Bivens. You've known me for what, 30-some years? So the first time you walked into my office, angry as hell, we sat down at the table and we talked about it. I'm kind of a little disappointed you didn't pick up the phone and call me, but that's all right. There's an old saying, Bobby, you're either at the table or you're on the menu. You've been fighting forever not to have a voice, but to be at the table. During the redistricting process, you guys had a seat at the table. Did the governor call you? Did any senator call you and say, hey, Bobby, where should we draw the lines? They didn't give you a seat at the table. They expect you to be there. They've got no respect for the process and the voters and what they've done. I love you to death. We're going to disagree. Tomorrow we're going to be friends again. And I love you, brother, but this is important to San Joaquin County that we respect the voters because this is what they passed. And we all had a seat at the table.
I just wanted to say one thing. We right now are a country divided, and you can see it by this topic here. And that's always the hardest part. I mean, I've been thinking about this for over the weekend, and how do we do it, and what's the cost of the election. It's an expensive cost, but unfortunately, I believe in the voters, and I mean, this is something that I won't be supporting because it's for me, it sends a message to people that, that this is a divided question and a divided issue, and how do we do it? We have to let the voters do it. And I think, no applause, please. We don't need applause. I've thought about this long and hard, and I know that this is a nonpartisan spot, and I understand that because the money and the $250 million, I had Olivia do a spreadsheet on the costs, and it's not cheap. But at the end of the day, people need to get out and vote what their preference is. And I don't agree that right now that the San Joaquin County needs to get in the middle of this because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And I believe that as my job as chair is to be neutral and to allow everybody their opinions and to support their opinions, whether you're on the right, the left, or the middle, whether you agree or disagree with what's going on in our country. So that's where I stand. So, I try to be Switzerland, and I try to be as cognizant as county policy and the work that we do in the county. But this is something that I think we might just let the voters decide, and whoever side wins is what we get. I totally don't agree with it, with the information that Supervisor Rickman and who was on the committees and all that. I don't know that that's our county's policy or how we should do it. The legislator and the Senate has spoken, and the governor, and it's the people's voices that should be heard. So at that time, I will open it up. Vice Chair Dollywall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be very brief on this issue. It's a blessing that we all live in the largest democracy in the world. And we must keep in mind, it's not we the politicians, it's we the people. Let people decide on this issue in November. That's my opinion. Thank you, sir.
Supervisor Garcia.
I don't think two wrongs make a right. I don't agree with the map itself. I think it really takes away some of the that the community's worked hard to create in the past. We don't always have to be the first. Sometimes it's good to stand neutral and let the people make decisions based on what they feel is right. This is a touchy situation. I won't be in a position to support this either.
Supervisor Dean.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to pass this this resolution.
I'll second it.
Call for the vote. The proposition is defeated 2-3. Moving on. Now is the time for public comment on matters within the jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors that are not listed on the agenda and minutes, consent calendar, and closed session items. We request that you fill out a comment form if you address the board in person. There is a time limit of 3 minutes for these comments. There is a device on the podium with a green, yellow, and red light. The yellow light will come on 30 seconds before the end of the 3 minutes. With regard to public comment, the law strictly limits the ability of board members to discuss matters not on the agenda, so that this is not an appropriate time to have a discussion with the board regarding your comments. We ask that you refrain from personal attacks during your comments and that you address all comments to the Board of Supervisors, not to the audience. Comments from the public may not reflect the viewpoint of the Board of Supervisors. At this time, we have Tammy Dunbar from U.S. Congressman Adam Gray's office. And Lauren Cardinale is on deck, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Chairman Canepa and supervisors. I'm here to give you an update from Congressman Gray. First, the congressman has been in district and he has been meeting with a lot of constituents on a variety of committee meetings, town halls. He hosted a water policy meeting in conjunction with Representative Costa, as well as an Ag Advisory Committee meeting in which they heard from farmers and producers across our district about the challenges that they are facing. He hosted a labor leaders roundtable in Modesto to discuss critical supports for workers because our workforce is our most valuable asset in this county. He also joined veterans, local veterans, for a town hall. He said our veterans deserve our complete support as the representative for the Central Valley on focusing on delivering the benefits our veterans earned through their service. Of his first 7 months in Congress, Representative Gray says progress is the hard work of sitting down with somebody you don't agree with and figuring out what you can agree on and move forward. I'm ready to work with people who want to sit down and actually work on our real problems together. We just opened Congressman Gray's new office in downtown Merced. It's at 602 West 20th Street. And because we know that's a long way to go, if constituents need help, we'll be having mobile office hours in September. I just heard from the City Hall in Tracy. We're setting up a date there. We'll be in Lathrop as well. And if you're curious what exactly we do, this is one of the big things, the reason I came to work here, same reason you all are working here. We serve the people. Just last week, we helped a disabled veteran and his wife get back their benefits that they hadn't gotten since January. And so now they can prove they have a constant flow of income, $7,700 and change a month, so they can move into an assisted living facility. That's what we can do. We can help with IRS, we can help with Veterans Affairs, we can help with Social Security, and we do. To date, we have gotten back $2.7 million for the constituents of California 13. So if anyone needs help with any federal issue, please contact the Congressman Gray's office at 209-226-6880. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren Cardinale. And Mary Nicholson's on deck. Morning.
You have to excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, so I'll do my best. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. I am here today after 5 years of asking for a stop workage of an illegal action by the federal government. And it's interesting today that history brings us back to civil rights issues. The Tuskegee experiments were run for 40 years by infecting Black Americans with syphilis. The CDC stated that rural Americans were uneducated, vulnerable, and made an easy target. The CDC simply stated clinical studies are not considered final in the medical world until autopsy, so we'll just let it run out and everyone has to die so we can see how the disease works. In 1972, a brave man by the name of Peter Bruxton blew the whistle. He called it unethical, immoral, and racist, and he was able to save 9 lives. For 5 years, I've been coming down here telling you how the government has no authority to inject people with experimental gene therapies. Dr. Peter McCulloch has now conducted thousands of autopsies that showed 75% of the people were murdered by the mRNA altering product. As of right now, the VAERS data shows there are 38,742 murders that doctors across the nation have supplied for report. But the CDC did the same thing they did in Tuskegee. They had an education program done and they said, oh, it's just a coincidence. It's statistically impossible for almost 40,000 people to show that the mRNA gene is harming people. I have tried to do an emergency notification through the EOP plan to your duty officer. No one has responded. The mRNA product is now in Mississippi under a public health emergency because it is murdering the children. And just like Robert F. Owens, who testified here, said that it was injuring African and brown people more, they're seeing that in the babies unborn. I am asking for you guys to partner and notify the duty officer to do an immediate pause or a moratorium on mRNA products locally so that people stopped getting injured. You were misled by the people who did your report for the after action report. It was inconclusive. The high-end number is 3.8 million Americans have been murdered by the CDC's federal government. The low end is 600,000. That's more than the war going on in Ukraine. That's our children, that's our cousins, that's our families. If we're really Valley first, you would let one voice of an individual stakeholder stop being censored. You would work with her in good faith partnering efforts to get the notification to the duty officer so people are stopped being poisoned.
Thank you. Mary Nicholson.
She may have only wanted to speak on the discussion item.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
At this time, I have no more comment cards, so if anyone's wanting to speak. Okay, seeing none, we will be moving on to the consent agenda, and we need our supervisors back. Supervisor Garcia, do you have anything to pull? Supervisor Rickman, do you have anything to pull?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second. Did you have anything to pull? So a motion.
Shenanigans.
Motion and a second on the floor to approve consent. Call for the vote. Consent is approved for nothing. Moving on. Alrighty, moving on to discussion item, approve agreement, the CAO's office approve agreement for expansion of the START application to other public entities within California through December 31st, 2027.
Chair Canepa, I believe we have discussion item number 2, which is the
Oh, I missed
county
it, I'm sorry.
library. Yeah, thanks.
Accept the fiscal year 2025-2026 county library budget presentation. Chris Farrow from the City of Stockton, Director of Community Services. You have the floor. Sorry, passed you up there. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Good morning. Chris Farrow, Director of Community Services from the City of Stockton. Happy to see all of you this morning. We obviously are very happy that our budget was approved with the rest of the county budget earlier this year in June, but we wanted to come back and provide an update on our last fiscal year, some things that are worth celebrating, and of course, open the floor to any questions that you may have about the city-county library system. So a little bit about the contract that we are in with the county to provide services to the city and the county. This contract has been around since 1910. Had to go back into our archive to actually find the original document. Started off as somewhat of a handshake deal, and there have been some revisions along the way. But for a very long time, the city has been partnering with the county to provide library services throughout the county. The 8 county branches that we serve are Escalon, Mountain House, Lathrop, Ripon, Linden, Thornton, Manteca, and Tracy. In addition to that, the city also provides a bookmobile, which is your traditional big bus that rolls through and provides additional services to some outlying areas where transportation may be difficult and provide a barrier for those to get to the main branches. In addition, we have another vehicle called the Training Wheels. You might not be familiar with that. It's a smaller vehicle that specifically targets early childhood education programs. So you'll see the Training Wheels out at Head Start programs and preschools throughout the county. I'm excited to announce that we have a new bookmobile that will be launching. We have received it from the manufacturer. It's on site. It's just getting some IT software touches, and it will be on the road, and it is high tech. We are welcoming the bookmobile to 2025. We are very excited to roll this out. The community is just going to be thrilled with all the advances in this new fancy bookmobile. Oops, wrong way. So what do we provide as part of our contract together? Well, the city provides all the operational support. So that is, we recruit, hire, and train staff. We purchase all of the supplies, inventory control, all the procurement. And we also supply the IT support, the website support. And as partners, because we are in this contract, there are some requirements that we must turn in some documents to you. So that is a variety of items like quarterly and annual financial reports, accounting of any surplus funding, and our purchasing records. And then the county, what do you provide as part of your part of the partnership? Well, you pay for 50% of our library administration. So those are the folks that are processing invoices, payroll, cataloging the books that come in, all the back end support. We split that cost 50% for the city and 50% for the county. And that's based on the fact that there are as many branches in the city as there are in the county. So that's why we just divide that down the middle. On shared services, the county picks up a little bit more, and that's for the tech services, the delivery, and the outreach, and the bookmobile, because the costs are a little higher for us to provide those services further away from Stockton. So that is a 65 split on the county for those particular accounting items. And then the county also picks up 100% of any staff and supplies that are used specifically for and at the county branches. An idea about our staffing levels. So right now you can see what the splits are amongst the county libraries. The smaller branches like Linden and Thornton only have 1 full-time staff supported by a number of part-time staff, where some of the larger branches like Manteca and Tracy have 7 full-time staff supported by part-time and then volunteers as well. So a total of 44 full-time employees sit on the county library side. Right now, we only have 2 vacancies within the county libraries. One is at the administrative level. We are recruiting for a city-county librarian right now. We are in the 2nd round of interviews, so we're very close to selecting our next candidate. I would imagine we'll have a selection within the next 2 weeks or so, and then obviously background checks, et cetera. So looking to place that person in probably about a month or so. And then we do have a library trainee position that we are recruiting for at the Manteca Library. We are very lucky that we have a robust library trainee program in that our library system has a trust fund that was set up by Ursula Myers many years ago that provides funding for our interested folks to go to library school and earn their master's degree. So when we bring people in as library trainees, we can provide them the opportunity not only to get the hands-on experience working in the library, but we can also help them in their education if they're interested to get their Master's of Library Information Sciences. Our operating budget was presented to you, as I mentioned earlier, in June. We won't dive into that since it's been shared with you, but I thought it important to put into our presentation today. What kinds of programs are offered at the libraries? So the libraries are not just books. I know that's what a lot of people think, but we are much bigger and offer way more things besides just books. So anything from movie nights to chess clubs to, of course, our very popular story times. In the summer, we also can provide summer meal programs at some of our locations. We have AARP partnerships who provide tax support during the tax season. So all kinds of other things besides just reading are going on at our county branches. I wanted to touch a bit on our digital resources. This is something that I think a lot of people are unaware, and there's so much bang you get for your buck on a free library card. So a lot of services are available online. This just barely scratches the surface. We have over 50 databases that are available for free to those that have a library card, and that's anything from LinkedIn Learning to tutor.com, Mango, which is a program where you can learn languages, of course, access to things like New York Times and Wall Street Journal. Our new website will really highlight these well. In our current website, which IT likes to joke is bandaged together with duct tape because it's so old, it's a little hard to find these resources, but within the next couple weeks, we will be launching our new website, and these will really take front and center. In addition to the ones I mentioned, we also have a career online high school. We've seen a huge increase across the city and county in those that are getting their diploma through the online program. So really great free resource that's available. Additional resource, we have somewhat of a library of things is what it's called in the industry, and that means that you can check out things besides just books. So we have tech kits where individuals can check out laptops and hotspots. We have stargazing kits, which are telescopes. We have California Parks passes, which those that check out can use any of the California parks for free. We, of course, still have DVDs, believe it or not, a very popular item still. And then we have story time kits that are activities that you can do with your kids along with the book that goes with the same theme. So you could basically run your own story time at home. And the Newbery kits, very similar to story time kits, they just focus on the Newbery Award-winning books. Our literacy and community education program is something that we're very proud of. We are doing great work across the county, and we are seeing huge increases, especially in adult literacy. So we have more matches, tutors with mentors than we've ever seen in the past. We are doing things like English conversation clubs and continuing our outreach in the bookmobile and training wheels for our younger population as well. Just a couple things to brag about. People are, I think the narrative has been that people aren't reading hard books anymore, hard copies. They're only reading digital. And we are finding that, yes, we are seeing huge increases in our digital, but also our circulation of actual books has still been increasing. So we see a 2% increase of items that have been checked out, 28% increase in our digital materials, a 5% increase in new library cards that are being issued, and a 6% increase in our gate count visitors to the library. And I think that was all, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
2 questions. When is our North Stockton Library opening, and was that budgeted? So how was that coming to?
Yes, that was budgeted, signed, sealed, and delivered. We expect to get keys on November 2nd, but will be a couple weeks for us to load in the books and get the gym ready and things. So we're hoping that sometime in December we will actually be able to open to the public.
Nice, perfect. So that staff, how many people will be working there?
So there'll be a full-time person on the recreation side, a full-time person on the library side, and the rest will be part-time staff.
Perfect. Supervisor Ding.
Not a question so much of as a comment, and that would be on your Thornton branch. I mean, I cannot tell you, that is the focus of every kid in that community. We had a community event here about a year ago, and we had all the kids. I can't remember the question, Nicole, what do you love most about Thornton, or which the favorite part of your day? And I mean, they're drawing pictures of the library. That is the center of their universe. That's their latchkey program. That's, the first adult they see, because most of the parents are working. So it makes a huge, huge impact.
Thank you, Supervisor Ding. I appreciate that. And I think that's true in a lot of our rural communities, because the library really serves as that hub. So it is the community center. As you said, it is the after-school program. It is the library. So the support for the rural branches, I think, is critical, because they don't have those resources through other city or town enterprises.
Perfect. Any other questions, comments?
Well, since you're eyeballing me over here, apparently I do.
Supervisor.
Yeah, he's eyeballing me like I owe him money. But no, thank you very much for the presentation. And libraries are very important. I know, Escalon and Tracy and Ripon and so on. But, a lot of people think now that you have a computer and, the internet, you don't have to go to the library. But there is so much more than just books. As you mentioned, there's a lot of different programs for our kids. And I still have my original library card back, 25 years ago, because I am a lot younger than members on this board. But keep up the great work, and, let us know, if you have any issues or any concerns with our libraries. Please let us, your representative, know.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Supervisor Garcia.
Growing up, I visited Fair Oaks Library quite a bit, and and it shut down for quite some time, and it was great to see that reopened. But what I really enjoy is the stats, and the stats have shown that there's been an increase of involvement and people using our libraries, and I appreciate the hard work and the update on this, on actually who's using it and the increase. Thank you.
Thank you. And Fair Oaks in particular, I don't have the numbers because it's a city branch. I only brought county numbers with me, but Fair Oaks in particular has had a huge increase every year that it has opened, and it is still on the rise. So very popular branch.
Perfect. I want to say thank you for the partnership. It's been absolutely amazing. So any other comments? I'll call for a motion.
This is a non-action item, Chair. So I apologize. That is in your outline.
Oh,
that is
yes,
my mistake.
that's not me.
That was my mistake.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Appreciate it. Okay. Now we can move on to number 3. CAO's office, approve agreement for expansion of the START application to other public entities within California through December 31st, 2027. Brenda Kiley and Frank Farrell from the Stockton Chamber of Commerce. You have the floor.
Hi, good morning. For the record, I love the library too. Yeah, used to take my kids there a lot when they were growing up. Okay, good morning, Chair Canepa, members of the board. I'm Brenda Kiley, Assistant County Administrator, and I'll be presenting the item to approve the expansion of the START application to other California entities. So if you remember, the START used to stand for Stockton Takes Action Against Retail Theft. It now refers to Standing Together Against All Regional Theft, so it has a new name. At the end of my presentation, Frank Farrell, who's the Chief Policy Officer for the Stockton Chamber of Commerce, will say a few words. Okay, for some background on the START program. In 2024, the board approved $35,000 in supervisorial district funds from districts 1 through 3 to develop an app that would allow users to report real-time events to law enforcement departments and file reports without the need for law enforcement to be on scene. In order to provide businesses with the tools necessary to report the events, the Chamber developed a security camera grant program to provide small business owners one-time grants to install camera systems in their places of business. Then in May of 2024, the board approved the reallocation of $1.3 million from the Small Business Assistance Grant Program for the START, development of the START app, and the Security Grant Program. And on December 3rd, 2024, the board approved the reallocation of $250,000 from the SHOP San Joaquin program to the START Security Camera Program. Finally, on August 12th, 2025, the board approved $10,000 of District 2 supervisorial funds to improve the reporting functionality within the app. So now the users will be able to report human trafficking, sideshows, illegal dumping, and illegal drug activity. They're enhancing the drop-down menu. So that was the most recent action by your board just last meeting. Some exciting news about the START program. The START program has received several awards. They've received the Anti-Crime Award from the Californians Against Retail and Residential Theft, the Outstanding Chamber Program Award from the Western Association of Chamber Executives, the 2025 Award of Excellence for Innovation in Digital Media from the California Association for Local Economic Development, and recognition on the floor of the State Assembly with a bipartisan joint resolution. And that was fun. Actually, I was there with Leadership Stockton that day visiting, so it was fun to be a part of. Okay, so why we're here. So board direction. On April 22nd, 2025, the board directed County Council and the County Administrator to work with the Chamber to develop an agreement for the expansion of the program to other counties. We have met several times, so County Council Kiernan, County Administrator Regalo, and I have met several times with Frank over these months to develop this agreement. The proposed agreement will allow the Chamber to offer services to other public entities in California on a subscription basis. So the cost to other counties, Frank has been speaking with other counties at this point, it's $120,000 per year that the county would pay for the base fee. And then there's an additional $10,000 for each 100,000 residents that exceed the base. So it's incrementally a greater cost as their population is greater. The initial term is through December 31st, 2027, with 2 additional one-year extensions available. The revenues that the Chamber receives in excess of their expenditures may be reinvested in the program with the approval of the County Administrator. So the Chamber will give us an accounting after the first full year, which would be the next fiscal year, the next budget year cycle. They will give us a full accounting of their revenues and expenditures. They'll send that to us, and we will look at it. And if there were any revenues that were in excess of their expenditures, they can request for those to be reinvested in the program. Otherwise, if that's not approved, we can also move forward and make some adjustments to the agreement in the amounts, because these amounts are estimates at this point because of the start of the expansion. The Chamber will not charge the county for the START services while the agreement is in place. Okay, so that concludes the technical details of the agreement. I will invite Frank Farrell to the podium to speak a little bit about the program and his efforts.
Through the chair.
You get 30 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Funny,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, that is funny.
Sorry for interrupting. A point of clarification. Your slide indicated that it would be $10,000 per 100,000 people to the extent that they exceed to the extent they exceed the base. As we have it written, and as I recall our emails back and forth, the way it's set up is it's $120,000 base fee and $10,000 per 100,000 people, which would include the 100,000 in the base. We could modify it to reflect what your slide said, but that's not how the contract's written. And my understanding is that's not what Frank was looking to have done. So I don't know if I
thought we just said the same thing, but.
Well, I think your slide, and I think your slide indicated that it was $10,000 per 100,000 people to the extent that it exceeds the base. And my point is that even the base amount is charged at $10,000. So for instance, if you had a county of 200,000 people, it'd be $120,000 plus $20,000, because it'd be $10,000 for the first 100,000 people and $10,000 for the second 100,000 people. And so there was some discussion whether or not we wanted to do it as your slide suggested or the way I've just described it, and I think we settled on the latter approach.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Frank, you have the floor.
Okay, that 30 seconds didn't start yet, did it?
No.
Okay, I'm just kidding. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Chair, supervisors. You know, it's been a cool year so far. We've been able to do something, you know, in the state of California that hasn't been done, and we are that shining star that you know, on the hill. And so we want to do everything we can to make this our community, our county, the leader, you know, throughout the state. We do have several counties that have expressed interest in our program. And so what I want to do now, depending on your action today, is get to work on that as a side job, really, be honest with you, because yeah, we still got to do everything, you know, we're doing here. But just I'm here for any questions you may have. Or I'm not going to sing Supervisor Rickman.
Back to the board. I mean, it's been an amazing program, and I want to thank Frank for the partnership and the district attorney Ron Freitas for starting that. So I think it's important that other counties are wanting to pick this up, and that if we can help them in any way, I think this is the step in the right direction. So any other Supervisor Rickman?
No, I want to thank Brenda and thank you, Frank, for, you know, the program is great, and I could sit up here and tout all the benefits of it and so on. And, you know, I think you guys have made a difference. I mean, I think San Joaquin County has, you know, become known as, you know, you come over here, you commit a crime, you're going to be held accountable. And, of course, helping our small businesses that have been just getting punished by what the state of California has done. But with that being said, Brenda, so if we let other folks or other counties, cities, entities, I should say, use this, so it's $120,000, and then that money goes directly into
The chamber.
to the chamber, but to be used at in this program.
Yes.
Okay, and there's
And-
going to be audits and all that stuff to
Yes.
make sure this money's going to be used as, all right, cool.
Yes, we spent quite a few meetings talking about the details of their estimates and the overhead and the direct program expenses. And so that's why we built in the accounting, the report after the first full year, so we could just
All right,
determine if that was.
That sounds good. And do we have any money left over still, or do we still have money for like the cameras and so on for small businesses? We still have
Yeah.
some available for grants?
Well, I'm not saying they're going to left. I was told to spend every nickel
All right.
of that by December 31st of 2027. So it doesn't go back to the
We
feds.
still have, you know.
Yeah, so we're still out there passionately, going out, meeting our businesses to let them know that we have camera grants going.
So we still have them?
Yes.
That's at
Yes.
the end of the day. And once that money's gone, if we do get money from the other entities and stuff, that's something we could possibly put money into. But cool, that's it.
Yeah.
So thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Through
for
the
opportunity.
chair, if I can.
2026, Frank misspoke.
Yeah, thank you.
What did I say?
If it's ARPA funding, it's December 31st, 2026, so you
What did
have
I
to
say?
spend it.
7?
Well, 2027, but.
Take your.
But I also just wanted to add, and Brenda did already hit on this, but our county will not be charged while this agreement is in place.
I like your tie. You're looking good.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this
Supervisor
is part
Dane.
of our sustainability plan all along, is to get other counties to help subsidize us here, right? So that's always a good thing.
Supervisor Dane, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you.
So maybe I hopefully misunderstood this. You said supervisor districts 1, 2, and 3, so you don't provide any service. I heard at the beginning something about
It
1,
was
2.
just the initial seed money, if you will, came from supervisorial district
Okay.
funds, which was 1, 2, 3. It was just the initial $35,000.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I don't want all the, criminals to be afraid in 1, 2, and 3 and decide to go to 4 and 5 where there's no cameras, so.
No,
that-
Supervisor Ding, it's never too late. Now, if you feel guilty, we'll
There
take
you
it.
go. And I think, and then my last question, I think you just, I'm trying to figure out what the county's involvement is here, because the chamber can do this by themselves. I'm missing that link.
We have the
Yes,
rights,
so
we have the
through the
rights to
chair-
the app.
That's
The app's
correct.
ours.
Oh, okay.
So the county provided the funding for the app.
Gotcha, thank you.
We on the app. Vice Chair Dollywell?
Thank you, sir. Brenda, is there any way to get the startup cost reimbursed?
We didn't discuss that. I think part of our agreement in the expansion is to the county not be charged for the ongoing expenses that the chamber will incur on our behalf, but we did not speak about reimbursement.
Is it possible?
We could look into it.
Thank you.
Supervisor Gardia? You're not on. No, there it is.
Keep shutting off. All right.
You're good.
Frank, I know you're super passionate about your program, and you often get cut short when you want to speak, because I'm sure you know that sometimes you be a little bit long-winded.
Never been accused of that.
I appreciate the addition to the illegal dumping. Illegal dumping across our county and across the state is definitely a major issue, and I'm happy that we're working on some stuff to expand that with the DA and the sheriff. Outside of that, I appreciate everything you do. The only thing negative I have to say is that creepy eye just gets me every time on your lapel pin.
You mean this one?
Yeah.
It kind of sticks out like a glass eye. Everybody's looking at it right now.
Yeah.
You're right, it does.
Thank you.
But it does grab your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. I think it's amazing. I mean, people that are watching should download the START app. It's an amazing set of eyes for everybody in the community. And what happens is the information goes to the retailer, and the retailer gets the information so that they can build a case to file. And then the new drop down will be amazing for other crimes and illegal dumping and other sex trafficking and drugs. And I think that's a huge addition. So thanks for adding that to the app.
Well, thank you for making it happen, so.
Appreciate it. Any other further questions? Open it up for the comment?
Yeah, just a
public comment?
quick comment, Chairman. Just so, to Supervisor Dollywell's request that we look into getting reimbursed, that would require that we postpone voting on this and try to negotiate that within the contract. So we'd have to amend the contract to do that. I think part of the reason we didn't pursue that is these are grant funds, and there may be legal implications if we are reimbursed, and we'd have to look into the legal implications. And the thought was, well, a cleaner way of dealing with it is to simply get the benefit to the county of not being of having its program run for free moving forward. So I don't want to give the impression that if the board passes this, we thereafter might get reimbursed. We'd have to postpone voting on this and amend the contract in order to do that.
Is that a good enough answer to your question? Oh. Okay. Opening it up for public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this? Seeing none, bringing it back to the board. So is that good enough answer so that we could vote on this for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Question. County Council, so we need to bring it back, or can we vote now?
If we were to pursue trying to get reimbursement, presumably that would be from excess funds or profits that the chamber would receive in offering this to other counties, and we'd have to put that provision within the contract, which would require amending the contract, which would mean you'd want to postpone voting on it today, if that's a desire of the board.
So if we do find a mechanism to get reimbursement, where would that money go?
Go ahead.
Through the chair, if I could, I will try my best, because at first I didn't even understand. So to get reimbursed for the startup costs, I would agree with County Council Kiernan. Most of them, they were funded, I would say, with ARPA funds. So that's a federal grant And so I would not recommend that we get, because then we'll have to, like council said, have to figure out, okay, do we have to send that back now? What, where is that? The rest, I believe the balance, a small balance, came from the board's discretionary funds. So if we receive that back, where would that go? It doesn't go into your, because every year you get 250,000. It wouldn't add to that, it would just fall to the general fund.
No, actually, Sandy, my question was, since it's a grant money, so do we have to send it back? That's what my question was. But I think what I said, it makes things a little bit more complicated than it should. So I think let's move forward as it is.
Okay.
Supervisor Ding has one more question before we take the vote.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, at least, it's not $250 million, right, like the special election is, and we actually get cameras out of this. So I don't think we have any fiscal problems here.
All right, thank you, sir.
Call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you for your diligence, Frank, much appreciated, so.
Thank you. I'll see y'all
Carry on.
Thursday.
Make us proud. Thank you. Moving on to number 4. ROV, approve and execute a 4-year agreement extension with DFM Associates for the use of elections information management system for the period of October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2029 for a total of $656,640. Ms. Hale, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, Chairman Canepa, members of the board. I am here today. My name is Olivia Hale, Registrar of Voters for San Joaquin County, and we're going to discuss an update about our agreement with DFM and Associates and our leadership role in expanding options for election management systems in California. This agreement is fiscally responsible and will allow the ROV to continue advocating for the certification of more innovative options. First, let me explain what an election management system is. It is a specialized software used by the ROV to manage the voter registration database and related election information. In California, EMS platforms are the backbone of election administration. They support voter registration records, election geography, candidate and contest information, election logistics, election processing support. And it is very important to note that the EMS is a separate component from the voting system. The EMS handles registration, election setup, and logistics, while the voting system is used to design ballots, capture votes, and tabulate election results. I will cover the DFM contract negotiations and extension. I will provide an update on our statewide working group activities. I will touch on what we've learned so far by tracking the newest system available in California, which is Pro Vista, and I will summarize key takeaway points for more detail. We successfully negotiated with DFM to secure a graduated increase to their rate structure as opposed to a flat 31% increase they originally proposed. This 4-year agreement extension ensures stability throughout the next major election cycle. Our office is co-leading a statewide working group aimed at reducing barriers for additional election management system vendors that are certified in other states. We've already hosted a working group session and received a demo of Pro Vista, which is Nevada County has currently implemented. All of this positions San Joaquin County for positions us well, for a formal solicitation before the contract expires in 2029. The DFM Elections Information Management System is the backbone of our election administration. It holds all of the voter registration data, election assignment details, and tools to certify elections. This extension keeps the system in place through 2029, ensuring continuity. Initially, the vendor proposed a flat 31% increase in the new agreement. The current agreement is set to expire at the end of September 2025, and the county's rates had not increased in over a decade. We negotiated a graduated rate structure for the next 4 years. This reduced the county's costs while preserving stability. The total contract value is $656,640 over 4 years. You can see the breakdown here on the slide of each fiscal year. Funds for 25 and 26 are already budgeted. Growth in years 2 through 4 is modest and predictable. The ROV plans to conduct a formal solicitation before the end of the 2029 term. Beyond managing this contract, our office is helping shape the future vendor landscape for California elections. We are co-leading a working group of California counties. The goal is to reduce barriers for election management systems already certified in other states to enter California. We are working with the Secretary of State to expand the vendor pool. Increasing the number of certified vendors will create competition, which will benefit counties both financially and operationally. ProVista was the latest EMS certified in 2024. We were able to host a working group session and receive a demo of ProVista's Vibe EMS earlier this year. Being the first and only current county, Nevada County has implemented ProVista. We are closely tracking their progress. San Joaquin County was fortunate enough to actually assist Nevada County team with testing ProVista during their implementation. We're also monitoring other vendors such as 10X as they move towards California certification. This gives us valuable insights ahead of a formal solicitation. We negotiated a shift, our key takeaways, we negotiated a shift from a flat fee increase to graduated rate increase, saving money over the term of the contract. I'll also add that they had originally wanted a 5-year agreement, and we were able to negotiate down to a 4-year agreement because that'll set us up for a perfect window to implement a system in between elections. The DFM extension currently ensures stability through the next election cycle. Our leadership in the statewide working group will encourage more vendor options, and by tracking ProVista's implementation in Nevada County, we are better prepared for the future. The agreement runs from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2029. The vendor is DFM Associates, the EIMS system. The annual cost will start at $147,240 and the year 4 will be at $178,680. After approval, our office will provide DFM with an executed agreement to administer. Thank you for your time. I'm here and available for any questions.
I just have one. So how long does it take for those folks to get certified if they're out of state?
It's quite an interesting process. We actually seen ProVista, which was a program that was built from the ground up, and it took about 5 years for them to get through the process. However, vendors that I'm referring to already have election management registration systems in other states, and they're headed towards certification. So 10X is a company that actually already has a poll book, which is the electronic device that's certified through the state, and then our current No Inc., they also have a company that is an election management system that they're also gearing towards the state. And so we're hoping to engage in these robust conversations to let the state of California know, hey, we have 45 counties that have DFM out of 58, and they've been around. Our county alone has been with them since 1985, and there are not very many options available to us. And so we want to see that change, and we want to see it be proactive instead of reactive. We've seen that with the voting systems in 2019 when they decertified and decommissioned every voting system in California, and it left 58 counties scrambling to get a voting system in place before 2020. And we want to see this addressed now because these systems are becoming outdated. And so if we can see options available to us in a proactive way so we can make decisions before they've ran their course of life, we'd like to be a part of making that happen.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions? Comments? Open it up to the public. Anyone from the public? Come on, forward, yes. Just restate your name, please.
So my name's Cindy. I know some of you, and I just was curious on, this is something that doesn't have very long, the window. Why, was there some reason that your ROV, I'm sorry, I'm kind of talking to everybody. Was there some reason why your office waited until now? It seems kind of like a last minute thing for, so I'm just curious about that. Thank you.
Through the chair, you want me to respond to that?
Yes, please.
All right, absolutely. So it's a renewal. It's not a brand new item, and it's very tricky when you're implementing a system. And so we have been doing some work looking at what was available out there, but right now there's only 2 systems available in California, and Provista was just certified this year. And I want to see an election happen with Provista before I make a recommendation to move forward with a product that's so brand new to the state and only has 1 county currently.
Perfect. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, bring it back to the board. Any questions or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Call for the vote. Okay, we have an extension.
Thank you very much.
5-0, thank you. Okay, discussion on the Health and Human Services, number 5. We're gonna go into closed session 5. Would you like to?
Can you talk real slow?
If you want.
I just asked for 5 minutes.
Okay. Supervisor Ding would like a 5-minute break, so we will come back in 5 minutes. Okay, I think we're ready to start. So we are receive a status update of the Behavioral Health Workforce Partnership. Genevieve Valentine, Healthcare Services Director, and Faye Vieira and Paul Lanning. You guys have the floor. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman, Supervisors, County Council, Madam CEO. Genevieve Valentine, your Healthcare Services Director. Today you are receiving a status update on the partnership between behavioral health and Health Force Partners on the Behavioral Health Workforce Partnership. To give a little bit of history for all of you, in 2023, Health Force Partners, in collaboration with Behavioral Health, launched a workforce initiative. The initiative specifically focused on ensuring access to care and serving the most vulnerable by making sure that we had a behavioral health workforce that was trained, educated for us, by us. This was supported at large by $5.2 million of ARPA funds that the Board of Supervisors allowed behavioral health in partnership with Health Force Partners to launch. This collaborative effort has provided much assistance in stabilizing and growing our county's behavioral health workforce. We've increased capacity of behavioral health services to local residents who've always wanted to pursue a career in behavioral health but didn't have the means to do so. This also has reduced the strain on emergency rooms and has also allowed us to reduce unnecessary medical costs to our residents, medical facilities, and others in the community. This program has provided scholarships, loan repayment, and offered retention bonuses, payments for certificates, and licensure training for those that are incumbent workers. As we've expanded and upscaled our workforce, we're also allowing for social mobilization and strengthening our local economy. So at Behavioral Health and Healthcare Services, we want to bring behavioral health professionals that can actually increase service delivery, but also be an economic benefit. To my right, we have our interim behavioral health director, Faye Vieira, and Dr. Paul Lanning from Health Force Partners, who's going to go into detail about this partnership and its successes.
Thank you, Genevieve. I'm happy to be here. So this program was a variety of different types of support. Our first support was offering student scholarships at UOP and Stanislaus. This really helped reduce barriers for people starting the program in and of itself, but we also recognize that sometimes people drop out of programs. So we also did two other things to decrease the number of people that would drop out. So we provided uniforms for all of our psych tech students at San Joaquin Delta College, because while people go into school knowing how much the tuition is going to cost, sometimes they're unaware of the incidentals, and it leads to hardships. Also, paid internships. Most internships are either 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week. And if they're not paid, then the students have to make a choice of living without financial support or relying heavily on student loans. And many students will drop out if they do not land a paid internship. So we dramatically increased the number of paid internships available to those in their master's program, which is a huge success. I know I was fortunate enough to land a paid internship in my master's program, and it was, quite frankly, a deal breaker. We also offered retention bonuses and student loan repayments so that when the students did graduate, they stayed with us. They stayed local. They didn't leave for job opportunities, because those retention bonuses and student loans were contingent upon a 2-year commitment to San Joaquin County. Also, we paid for certifications and licensures for training incumbent workers. So we did not just focus on building outside-in workforce. We also looked at who already works for us and what can we do to incentivize them to go back to school for a higher degree, higher salary, and a higher need position in the county.
Question.
Yeah. Yes.
Faye, how do we get this information to students that the paid internship is available?
Paul, do you want to speak about how we advertise that? I think it's through the schools, if I'm not mistaken.
We work directly with the internship placement coordinators at both universities to ensure the placement of students who qualify for the stipulations in this particular agreement, among which are that you need to be a county resident. So it's not open to all students from those universities. It's only open to those that have established residency in the county. We also work with community-based organizations as well as with behavioral services on the openings.
So when you say both universities, it's UOP and Stan State? Okay. How about Delta College? No, they don't offer masters.
Delta does not have a master's.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And we have some achievements we would like to highlight for you all. That number 81 is actually up to 96 now and still growing. So we have 96 interns placed and supervised by the Health Force Partnership in San Joaquin County. And we, our first goal was 40, so we've far exceeded that. Also, we have offered $825,000 in scholarships for San Joaquin County residents. Additionally, we have increased investments in peer support specialists, substance use counselors, and psych techs. And I do want to say that our behavioral health outreach workers who become peer support specialists, both behavioral health outreach workers can bill and peer support specialists can bill Medi-Cal. However, once they get that certification as a peer support specialist, they pull in a much higher rate. So this really encouraged financial stability for behavioral health as well. We had many positive impacts, probably more than we have time to highlight, but we did stabilize our current workforce and we saw a decrease in our turnover rate. We enhanced career opportunities for local residents, and we increased access to specialized care. This is really important because I do want to highlight that when we started this program, our clinicians had a caseload of 85 clients, and now they have a caseload of 35 clients. And if you can think about the great work a clinician can do with a caseload of only 35, those 35 clients are going to get seen more often and they're going to get better care. So it really did improve the experience of our clients. Oh, and also we have additional slots for San Joaquin County residents at UOP, and they're growing their master's program as we speak. So currently they have 46 San Joaquin County residents enrolled in their program, whereas years previous it had only been about 12 or 14. So we are seeing that more and more San Joaquin residents are graduating from these programs, which means we have more qualified applicants showing up on our hiring lists. Here's some numbers for you guys if you like data. When we first started this program in 2023, we had 30 vacant psych tech positions. And now we currently only, as of end of June, we only had 9. So that's a 70% decrease in vacancies. For mental health clinicians, we started off with 36 vacant positions, and now we only have 14, which is a 71% decrease. So huge differences there. And again, that's what helped us bring our caseloads down. Also, the students who are choosing to do their practicums with us in our community-based organizations are choosing to stay. As you can see right here, 81% of the interns who did their second year practicum with us were hired by San Joaquin County Behavioral Health. Big success. And now I'm going to pass it to Paul.
Thank you for the opportunity this morning. And there have been a number of new developments that are a direct outcome of the investment that this board made 2.5 years ago now. Faye and Genevieve and others were able to secure additional funding through MHSA for expansion of our practicum model, with Health Force Partners providing supervision on behalf of community-based organizations for interns. That's expanded the pipeline into careers in this county for behavioral health clinicians. We've also been able to build out our licensed clinical social worker staff to provide clinical supervision for ACSW employees moving toward their licensure. So after the internship, then the hours needed for licensure, we're now able to provide supervision for those candidates as well. In addition, this program in San Joaquin County has gained exposure regionally and statewide as well. The Modesto City Council last year invested in expanding this program into Stanislaus County, focused on Modesto area residents. That program now includes supervision of interns as well as scholarships for local residents in that area, very much borrowing from the San Joaquin leadership of this effort. And finally, there is congressional funding that was allocated to Stanislaus State through Congressman Harder to expand clinical placements in the entire northern San Joaquin Valley region, including Merced, Stanislaus, and San Joaquin counties. working through the 3 behavioral health directors in the region to coordinate more opportunities for regional residents to remain in this area, pursue their career paths by not having to leave this region for either education or for training or for licensure. And the result of this is that we're growing our own, retaining our own, and caring for our own in this region. We've been sharing some of the student stories of our San Joaquin County residents, in particular, the interns that have come through the program over the past couple of years, and we continue to do that. But there are some really exciting stories, I think, of the individual successes that have been achieved by some of the students that have come through the program, benefiting by being placed locally in internship opportunities, by receiving the supervision that's we're able to provide on behalf of community-based partners, and by, as well, receiving scholarship support so they can continue their studies and not have to worry about making tuition payments or buying books. So those stories continue to be featured. They are all San Joaquin County residents who are aspiring to careers in this county, serving their communities. And we've also been supporting our students through the highlighting of the scholarships that are available at each of the 2 universities that we've worked with. And we continue to work with our partners at Pacific and Stanislaus State both of which have expanded their programs in part as a direct result of this investment that the board made a couple of years ago. So we're very excited about the progress of this program. We'll be releasing, in conjunction with Behavioral Health Services and the county, a white paper touting the results of this program that we hope to share through state agencies so that other regions of the state can learn from this work as well, and that we can all work to grow our own and retain our own, to care for our own throughout the state. And that is the sum total of our presentation. We wanted to provide this update today based on the fact that, at least with Supervisor Canepa and Supervisor Rickman, you were at the launch event 2.5 years ago when this was an idea. And now we have data to support the fact that it was a wise investment that is yielding tremendous results, and we're excited to continue this work in partnership with the county.
I was at the mental health symposium, and I always tout greatness grows here. And one of the young ladies was there, and she said, "Hey, Supervisor Canepa, I just wanted to tell you, I inherited a house from my grandmother. I was in Oakland. I came here, and then I was the janitor. And with this program now, she's a social worker working for San Joaquin County. I'm very proud of that." So just those lived experiences and those stories make it so valuable, and the numbers are just absolutely amazing. Supervisor Ding.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is a great day for your presentation because it falls on the day Stephen starts his master's program at UOP today. So he's like a Genevieve disciple. So I had no idea how much college cost now compared to 100 years ago when I was there. So yeah, thank you.
Growing our own some more. Supervisor Garcia.
I guess I'm going to repeat what Chair Campa just said, but I think 2 things that really struck me as a positive is growing your own and retaining your own, which is huge. And I appreciate the data because it actually proves that we're successful in the mission that we set out to go. So thank you.
Vice Chair Dollywell.
I just want to say, Genevieve, you and your team are doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
We are so proud. Keep it up. Best wishes.
Thank you.
And Chair, no actions required on this.
No actions required? That's good. Not that there wouldn't be support, so thank you for the presentation. You guys are doing amazing work.
We just want to thank the chair and the board for always supporting behavioral health, healthcare services at large. And we also now have a new slogan that health and wellness grows here.
Thank you so very much. All right. At this time, we will go to closed session.
And
are we going to have any reportable action? Or?
I anticipate that we will, yes.
Okay. So we will come back out to have any reportable action.
Correct.
And if there's comments or questions.
It'll probably take an hour.
Okay. So, all right. We're not going to.
So reporting out of closed session with regard to Jane Doe versus County of San Joaquin, the board approved settling that case, the terms and conditions of which will be made available upon request once all parties have signed off on the settlement document. The motion was made by Supervisor Rickman and seconded by Chair Canepa, and by a vote of 5-0, the board approved settling that matter. That's it.
Thank you very much. Any comments, board comments? No? Okay. Adjourn the meeting at 12:45.